vaccines have been used. In case of broilers, the vaccines are absolutely not viable because of the cost. And again, immunity is not well documented. Different vaccines have been tried in inactivated form, some as alone vaccines or some in combination with some other viral vaccines, but it is not well documented. And control measures taken to prevent E. coli in chickens primarily involve elimination of predisposing factors, what I told you just now. That includes vaccinating the birds against mycoplasma, IBV, and NDV. Of course, as far as our commercial broilers are concerned, this mycoplasma vaccination is not there. It has to be done in the parents. But like IB, ND, all these vaccines we are definitely doing to get rid of these respiratory pathogens and prevent the attack of E. coli on our chicks. Then, as I said, they are susceptible to normally used disinfectants and the temperatures above 70 degrees Celsius. So this is a really good factor for us to prevent entry. And that's why thorough cleaning and disinfection of poultry houses, thereby reducing exposure to pathogenic strains of E. coli, can help. I always say in all my farmers meetings and other meetings that this is a very important factor, cleaning and disinfection of houses between the flocks. Because sometimes in case of broilers, people feel that my flock has gone without much of an infection and there was no much big disease, so I need not go for thorough disinfection. But that's wrong concept, because many times these young chicks, they may fall prey to the infection, but when the birds are grown, like 1.2 kg, 1.4 kg, even if there is infection, they will not die of the disease, but the infection is there in the shed. So considering that, once the flock is liquidated or lifted, we must do a thorough cleaning and disinfection and reduce the exposure of pathogenic strains to the newly coming batch into the shed. Ensuring proper vaccination and chlorination of drinking water. Proper ventilation, as I said, will reduce the level of built-up ammonia, reducing the stress on the respiratory tract. Chlorination of drinking water will naturally reduce the chances of E. coli coming through water and also reduce the environmental contamination. And the latest method, of course, for prevention of E. coli is by bacteriophage, which other speaker is going to say what is the specification of these bacteriophages. So when we think of treatment, because we are trying to prevent and we don't want the disease to enter our farms. But as it is, if it has entered despite our preventive measures, we have to treat the flock. We cannot just look at the birds dying of the disease. So treatment is relying mainly on antimicrobial therapy. There are so many antibiotics available in the market. And earlier, a lot of antibiotics used to have very good impact on killing of E. coli. But of late, more and more pathogens, these strains of E. coli, are becoming increasingly resistant to frequently used antibiotics. So this treatment fails. So generally what happens, we go for treatment with antibiotic sensitivity test. But again, this test has to be conducted against isolated pure culture of E. coli. And then you may get some results. But again, this resistance still remains a big issue. So antimicrobial therapy is now not going to be 100% surely helping to get rid of coli bacillosis. Again, we know there has been ban on antibiotics use in food animals already there in Europe, European Union. And of course, we are India also going to follow the suit. Already the ban on certain antibiotics in food animals as preventive purpose has already come into force. So we cannot rely on antibiotics. We must slowly see some other alternative to the antibiotic treatment. So that's why we need to adopt newer methods for preventing and treating of E. coli infections. What newer methods are there that we are going to listen from a very prominent speaker who is coming next after me. So that is bacteriophages. So fast therapy is the use of bacteriophages to treat bacterial infections, and this should be used as alternative to antibiotics when bacteria develop resistance. Whenever bacteria are developing resistance, naturally so many antibiotics, people who are using a 10 mg per kg have gone to 20 mg, 30 mg per kg also, but with no result. Rather, there will be some drug toxicity. So when the drug resistance is there, we must try to go for some alternative antibiotics. And for that, I think Protean has got some solution. We are going to see that. So thanks a lot for your kind attention. At the end of presentations, we always have a question answer session. We'll be very happy to answer your questions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Sudesh. It was a very enlightening session. Now we give our panel to Justina.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers of this meeting for inviting me here today. And let me start by saying just a few words about my own background. My name is Justyna Andrysiak, and I'm a biotechnologist responsible for new product development in Proteon Pharmaceuticals, and would like to share some information about Proteon's technology with you. Pooja, can you go to the slides with bacteriophage? We are all aware that feeding the world in a sustainable way is one of the most pressing challenges in the coming decades. Global demand for poultry meat is growing, and in the past 50 years, meat production has increased more than 4 times. That's really impressive. But with the scale of production growing so rapidly, the sector is also facing challenges. We just heard a great lecture about avian pathogenic E. coli, which is one of the most devastating bacteria for poultry industry. Later, I would like to explain how our technology could prevent colibacillosis. If you know our company and our products such as Bafazal or Bafazal plus G, you probably know that our solution are based on bacteriophages. Our company have been studying this amazing organism for over 10 years, and I would like to tell you briefly about them, including the fascinating mechanism of action. Bacteriophages are naturally occurring organisms that attack only specific bacteria, remaining completely safe for animals, humans, and environment. They are the oldest organism on Earth and constitute the largest group of organisms on our planet. Each phage acts selectively against only one species of bacteria, which makes them completely safe for the beneficial diversity of the microbiome. On the slide, you can see the graphical representation of phage particle, as well as actual photo of one of the phages that is present in our product BAFACOL. Next slide, please. Bacteriophages can undergo 2 types of life cycle, lytic and temperate. It is really important for you to know that in Proteon, we are using only lytic phages, which means that after encountering the bacteria, they immediately take over bacterial machinery, force it to create new phage particles, and consequently destroy bacterial cell without having the possibility to integrate to bacterial genome. We are using only lytic and safe phages. Next slide, please. Let me briefly go through the advantages of the bacteriophage technology. Our products are very specific and highly focused only on virulent avian pathogenic E. coli. Do not affect negatively beneficial microflora of the gut. They are acting directly at the site of infection. They are natural part of the environment and are totally safe for animals and humans. They're active also on antibiotic-resistant strains, which is extremely important. They are composed into cocktails, which assures the broad activity and prevents the possibility of resistance development. Unlike antibiotics, they are also active on the bacteria that can create biofilms. Next slide, please. Proteon Pharmaceuticals is a bacteriophage company. We have been working with bacteriophages for 10 years, and we have significant experience in creation of novel, effective, and industrially applicable solution. Our product, BAFACOL, is a result of comprehensive R&D studies. We proved its efficacy in prevention of the infection caused by avian pathogenic E. coli in poultry, both in vivo and in vitro. Next slide, please. BAFACOL is based on carefully selected 5 lytic bacteriophages, which are composed in synergistic cocktail, effective against avian pathogenic E. coli. As our phages are highly specific, they are targeting only pathogenic strains, not affecting the beneficial microflora of the gut, and not affecting productivity in that way. The product is well tolerated and safe for poultry, humans, and environment. Next slide, please. Let me shortly summarize the features of the BAFACOL. It is natural, non-GMO product that does not leave residues, highly selective and active only against avian pathogenic E. coli strains. It's well tolerated, non-toxic and safe. It's very easy to apply via drinking water and can be used with all poultry species. Next slide, please. Based on the features of the bacteriophages, our product will help you to reduce the mortality connected with colibacillosis and improve production parameters, in that way increasing the economics of your production. What is also important, BAFACOL will contribute to the reduction of unnecessary use of the antibiotics, increasing the sustainability of your production and preventing the spread of antibacterial resistance of pathogenic bacteria. Next slide, please. Now I would like to present the results of one of the in vivo trials that we performed. In this study, performed in Europe last summer, we were focusing on evaluating efficacy of the product in 3 different application schemes: the every other day application, prophylactic use, and therapeutic approach. The infection was performed using the mixture of 3 different virulent E. coli apex strains injected directly into the RSAC of the birds. In each group, we had 128 broilers. As you can see on the graph, the results showed that each BAFACOL application was effective in prevention of colibacillosis, which was proven in lower mortality rates in the groups T3, T5, compared to the positive control group. What is more, we observed also lower FCR in all BAFACOL groups, which indicates its positive influence on production parameters. That is why we strongly believe that this product can make a difference and support the Indian farmers' effort to protect their flock against avian pathogenic E. coli. Next slide, please. BAFACOL is a liquid feed additive with high stability. It's already registered in India. We recommend 1 times 10 to the power of 6 phages per bird, which means that in 100 milliliter bottles, you will find 10,000 doses. We recommend preventative use, as a prevention is always better than cure. The dosing scheme will depend on the poultry species and the situation on the farm. Early usage of BAFACOL can help to reduce the incidence of early chick mortality, and regular usage through the life cycle will help to protect the flock from colibacillosis and reduce the mortality along with improvement of FCR and profitability. In layer and breeder, regular usage of our product will ensure a better protection of flock against colibacillosis, hence reducing mortality and improving egg production and hatchability. For more guidance related to dosing and application, please contact our sales team. They will answer all of your questions and help you to protect your flock against E. coli. This is all from my side. Thank you very much, and if you have any question, I will be happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Justina.